Hello everybody, welcome back. Now this vlog is going to be quite tricky for me because I'm here to talk about a collection of books rather than an individual book. Specifically, I'm here to talk about the 50 small books that comprise this fantastic new range from Penguin called Penguin Modern. Now, as you can see from the shelf behind me, I'm a big Penguin fan anyway, but I particularly like this collection of, this new collection that's coming out this spring of 50 books, each of them £1, which collects works, whether they happen to be a collection of essays, a collection of speeches, or whole works in themselves, short stories, from some of the most radically thinking writers of the 20th century. This is a fantastic collection that is full of thought-provoking arguments and discourse and fantastic essays and stories from some of the most famous names, whether that happens to be the likes of Shirley Jackson, Truman Capote, Albert Camus. You've also got thinkers such as Martin Luther King, you've got Audre Lorde, you've got artists such as Lenora Carrington, Andy Warhol. Actually, let's just have a flick through because there's so many. I mean, don't mind me, I've just got my glasses on. But the breadth is extraordinary. From Betty Friedan, you've also got Dorothy Parker and Susan Sontag, who some of you might remember I was chatting about in the review of Michelle Dean's Sharp. You've also got, like I said, you've got Capote, Kerouac, you've got some of the biggest names here, John Berger, Kathy Acker. We all know I love Kathy Acker. There's obviously William S. Burroughs. How can there be a collection without him? And some of the Steinbeck. Gosh, I really got to get all of them. Sadly, Franz Kafka. I've only got 14. So I've obviously got 36. Jean Rhys. Oh, there's so much to read in this. Gertrude Stein. So what a fantastic collection. Now, I used to commute, so obviously these are gems for sticking in your bag and commuting and not being heavy or anything like that. But I have really been excited because I want to talk about this is because the collection that's been brought together by Penguin is so smart and so provocative and so exciting and full of ideas that are relevant to contemporary discourse. I don't want to bore you with all of them, but just look at them. Look at them. Let's take Audre Lorde's one, which is the first one I started with, and it was the one that I was most excited to read. The master's tools will not dismantle the master's house. Wise words. This is an amazing collection of speeches and essays from Audre Lorde, a black lesbian feminist who talks about, even in this stage where she's writing this in the 1970s, 1980s, she's talking about intersectionality, the politics of difference, the uses of the erotic, homophobia, racism, ideas that even in the 21st century we are still struggling with, embarrassingly. But she was so ahead of her time, and her writing is so unapologetic and brilliant. Just this piece on intersectionality, there's a whole, on Malcolm X, there's an amazing essay on Malcolm X in here. As women, we have been taught either to ignore our differences or to view them as causes for separation and suspicion rather than forces of change. Without community, there is no liberation, only the most vulnerable and temporary armistice between an individual and her oppression. But community must not mean a shedding of our differences, nor the pathetic pretense that these differences do not exist. This book is amazing, but all of these fantastic 50 books are amazing. Sadly, I've only got 14. Can you believe it? I've only got 14. Clarice Lispector, McCullers, The Haunted Boy, Death the Barber, Nabokov, Truman Capote, Martin Luther King, Letters from Birmingham Jail. My goodness, that's going to be the next one. And then we've got Catherine Ann Porter, Lenora Carrington, obviously, because when it comes to artists. And of course, do you all love Shirley Jackson as well? I adore Shirley Jackson. If you haven't read, where's the Shirley Jackson book? We Used to Live in a Castle. It's one of the greatest books you will ever read, and you must read it. And Andy Warhol, Kathy Acker and Audre Lorde. Please invest in the Penguin Modern range. I've got a feeling that they may become a little bit collectible, that there'll be a few of us who go, oh, I have to get all 50, and I probably have to get all 50, but I'm starting well with 14. But just with the collections and the disparity and and differences of the discourse and the writing in here. Like I said, from essays to politics, from racism to erotica. It's just so exciting, and Penguin Modern have done a fantastic job of bringing in such diversity into the writing and bringing out essays and speeches and works from very famous names as well that we might not have seen. So fantastic. Penguin Modern, they're out now, and they're £1 each, 50 to get.